The Saudi Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, is incredibly young for someone with so much responsibility. He's also Defence Minister and in charge of the economy. He got there because he spent the last few years being effectively tutored by his father, the king. He has emerged from the shadows with a meteoric rise to take over one portfolio after another. Saturday, the 4th of November, has been termed already the Night of the Long Knives because, under the orders of the Crown Prince, a large number of senior Saudi princes, ministers, former ministers and business figures have all been rounded up, their assets seized, they've been put into luxury detention. This is unprecedented in Saudi Arabia. These are big public figures and they've been publicly humiliated and accused, so officials say, of corruption and abuse of power. The Crown Prince is one of the very few people who could take on the power of the religious conservatives in Saudi Arabia and say it's time for women to be allowed to drive. Saudi Arabia is the last country in the world where women haven't been allowed to drive. That's going to change in June when the ban is lifted. The Saudi Crown Prince is absolutely right in that he needs to reform the Saudi economy. It's got this huge dependence on oil that will one day run out. So to that end, he's announced plans for this massive Vision 2030 and a huge megacity, a $500 billion megacity in the desert that's going to have robots and drones and driverless cars, and there'll be zones where men and women can mix publicly and there'll be entertainment. Driving it through is very much his vision. Anybody who gets in the way of that, he's making sure that they are removed. It's taking on a lot of enemies at the same time. 2.5 years ago, he committed Saudi armed forces to joining the war in Yemen, and that war is unwinnable. It's costing a lot of money, and it's costing a terrible amount of casualties in Yemen, leading a boycott against neighbouring Qatar, which is damaging to both countries. And he's very much involved in the Saudi war of words with Iran, with both countries accusing each other of aggression and stirring up trouble in the Middle East. He's also still technically fighting ISIS and taking on the power of the entrenched religious clerics at home. This is a lot of people to be taking on at the same time, and it's been described as building up a reservoir of discontent.